Hello, my name is Sujin. People call me Sujin. My official name is Jacob Samuel. I'm part of the charity and the missions team here that is headed by the deacon of missions is our brother Vinoy George. It is led by Pastor Joseph Abraham is part of it. The sisters deacon, Sister Molly is also part of this ministry. And then, I'm privileged to be part of it along with our sister Simi, who has been a silent supporter from afar off in Arizona. So, Restoration Church Dallas (RCD) is a relatively very young church, and from the very inception, one of the things that was core in the heart of the leadership or the eldership is missions. We wanted to help restore people, whether they are in our neighborhood here in Rowlett or this parts of the world or the rest of the world, and essentially to the 5 continents, any part of the world, restore people to a new life in Christ. And that has been our goal of all of us for the leadership. That has come down to us. Now, the charity and the missions department, we are at a stage where we are just crawling, or in baby language, we're just crawling. We are exploring, we are crawling, finding new places, and getting excited about the new places and seeing all the different things. So we are at that stage where we begin to see crawl. In 2024, God's grace is when we started crawling and seeing things. We have seen what God can do. We know what's one place that's near and dear to all of us in this community is India. And so we have India. But we have also begun to see other places in the world. So Restoration Church, God has called us not only to India, but to the rest of the world too. And have taken us into not only to Southern Asia, but also into Central Africa, in the countries, the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, in a small town on the east side of Congo called Bunia, where apparently we have more than 1.5 million misplaced people, the own Congolese people who have been misplaced and packed into a small town with no homes, no shelters, no proper shelters. Children are being raised with no hope. So God has led us into this place called Bunia in 2024. And not only Bunia, but in 2024, God has also led us into another place in Panama, where we are seeing how God could use us among an indigenous groups of people called Embera. So wherever God leads us is where we want to go. One of the things about missions is the need is plenty. No matter where you look, you cannot have enough money, not enough money. There's so much need out there. But the important thing for our church is finding where does God want us to be. Because we cannot fulfill all the needs all the time, all the places. But we want to know where God wants us to be. And when God wants us to show us a place, then we want to be faithful to that. With missions, one of the things is many people are, especially to the churches, people look at missions and say, we support, it's all about the number of stations or the amount of money we support, right? It's about 10 stations, 50 stations, 100 stations. It is part of the equation, but it is not the only equation, what RCD or our church is concerned about. We want to go into a place where we can have an effect 5 years, 10 years, 25 years from now. when we look at 2050, what kind of effect we have on a small place like Bunia, or a small place like Panama, or a different country, or wherever God wants us to be. What kind of effect that we can have on the lives of people, whether building up emotionally, how do we restore them to a new life? How do we restore their physical surroundings so they have a better life? How do we restore them spiritually so that they better understand what Christ is, the new life that the Christ offers? So that is what God is calling us to do. It is something that our church is passionate about, and we want to fulfill that call. We don't want to just go. It is like carrying people without looking at the cost, and how much that is. It is about how much we want to give, and how we want to give, and the kind of impact. We want to be at a place where we will take our families with our children and teach them the basics of missions, basics of loving people, how we can love people, how we can, people who are always bent down, looking, rejected, who are hiding, how can we lift them up, love them, put them above our shoulders, walk with them when necessary, put them on our shoulders when necessary, till they are able to learn and they are able to love just like we love them. And we want to partner with people who do this, who want to do some of these things, right? There are many people out there, there are many needs out there, missions out there, but it is what God wants us to be. Where does God want us to be? That's the main question that always is in the minds of missions. And when we walked into Bunia or Panama, that's what we're looking into. God is slowly leading us as we are crawling into these spaces. We are seeing how much need there is, and how God willing, will help us to be more faithful towards in that particular call, that area.